Bam. How did you stay silent to protect me? By you staying silent, when people thinking that I took you for everything you got, how does that protect me? How does that protect me? With everything that I have going on, how does that protect me? My ex-husband. Keep in mind, me and Iman are on good terms. I didn't even know we was beefing. So I hit him on some like, hey, baby daddy, what's going on? Like, yo, like, people was putting out these blogs. And then, you know, somebody's kind of sending me a little bit of proof that you're paying to ship this stuff around to promote and help trend your name. Like, you know, I'm like, but I don't want to believe that it's you because we're in such a great space. Like, I got love for you for real, for real.
Hey guys, welcome to Little Black Button 91. We gotta talk. You know what I mean when I say that? We know what it means. We have to talk about the situation because I feel like this with Teyana Taylor and the man Shumpert, that this has gone from being relationship couple goals to being one of the messier divorces that we've seen. Well, not the messiest, but it's a messy one, right? And it's messy because there's a lack of protection from a man, so it seems, towards his ex-wife. Now, I want to say this first and foremost. There are two sides to every story. So I'm not going to say that Teyana Taylor is innocent. By the way, by the fact that they involved a third party in their marriage by having threesomes was already going to cause carnage and issues as well. And every time we've seen people do that, it doesn't work out for the best. But what I will have to say is that with Iman and Teyana Taylor, with the point that she makes about being covered in that moment because she was finding out that potentially that he actually had been paying blogs. This is not emotionally covering your partner. Now, of course, they're not in a relationship anymore. But the key part aspect is she is a mother of your children. So allowing certain narratives to begin to flow and not address them is detrimental not only to her and her mental health, but it's actually detrimental towards your kids who are going to see these headlines, and then you have to course correct it. Or better yet, you'll leave it for the kids to see because you don't mind what they see and you want them to think that she's a villain. Now, don't get it twisted. Both parties here have something to play a role in the breakdown of a relationship. It takes two to tango, right? But I do understand her particular point of view. There was a cheat clause, if I remember correctly, in their divorce, in their prenup, right? So if you do that and you cheat, then you are going to be liable for that. You signed it, so therefore you should know it. Now, of course, in regards to the financial breakdown, they came in with what they had, and yes, bar obviously a child support and a few other things, he was leaving with what he had, and she left with what she had, right? Now, of course, there's going to be bitterness because when people break up and people divorce, there's always pain emotionally from what they've actually gone through. And that can be very difficult when you are in a relationship with that person and having to separate and go your own ways. There is going to be some level of unforgiveness, going to be some level of we don't like each other at certain points, right? But they got to a place of seemingly, once more again, where they were cool and they were able to be alongside one another. But the issue is that if he's paying blogs to create a narrative for his ex-wife so he can clean up his own image, it further exasperates the idea that he was never that clean in the first place. What man or what husband ends up trying to pay blogs to clean up his name whilst at the same time burying his ex-wife's name, right? Now, he's acting like as if, and quote unquote, we're going to say allegedly again, it's acting as if that your wife is the one that cheated on you and did you dirty. Then I would understand because you're angry, you're frustrated, and you're getting your own back. But if you're the one that actually did the cheating, you're the one that got caught out, you're the one that was moving mad, and bro, why is it that you're spending your precious energy trying to bury your wife? You've got kids together. That's going to be a thought process, right? I think also with this situation, her calling out the false narratives around the divorce settlement, we have been seeing leaks of the divorce settlement, and we were wondering where it was coming from because there seemed to be from the time of them divorcing, they kept on having information that would flow, and we would not know where it was coming from and how we'd get it, but we would get the information, which means somebody was leaking it. Okay, all right. So she had to shut down the rumors that were not correct and not misaligning her actual reputation. So, I mean, one of the things that's said recently is that she's trying to put her baby daddy into jail. When she said no, what she's trying to do is make sure that she files a motion or files a complaint, right, about the way that he's handled certain things about the divorce settlement. Okay, so if he's leaked false information about her, then yeah, of course he's going to be in trouble, right? So this is this if this is really true that a man's doing, then this is a case of jealousy. It's a case of damage control. This is a case of control. It's a case of an aspect of almost narcissism in a sense. Am I saying that's what he is? I don't fully know. But by what she's saying, this seems like this is the path. Now, I think it's always important to have two sides of a story so we can understand where it's coming from, right? Before I can say anything deeper. But the fact that she's now going legal route and potentially has to go legal route in regards to holding him accountable for doing what he's doing and getting people to leak information, well, I understand it. I understand it's got to be done because at some point in time, a man has got to understand there has to be consequences for your actions. Okay? So you cannot manipulate the public opinion to be on your side whilst burying your ex-wife. Now, again, I don't fully know the truth 100%. I was not there in their relationship. So it could be much more different than it actually is. Why are we knowing about this Teyana situation? Again, why does Teyana want to let us know about... There were some other aspects of the video which were like... She started off the video by saying, what if I want to get my back blown out? And I was like, Teyana, we don't need to know that, okay? If I want to get my back blown out in silence, I said, sis, we don't need to know that. We do not need to know what you're doing in your bedroom. We don't care. It's not important. What's important is what you're saying about the misinformation and talking about the core aspect of it. That's it. About, what if I want to get my back blown out in peace? Baby, listen, I hear it, but we don't want to hear that. Okay? All right? So for me personally, I see both sides and how they can actually... I see one side, I see her side, but I do want to be able to say I would love to hear more from his perspective as to what's going on because he hasn't publicly responded yet, right? Now that can be a very dark-handed manipulation, right? Not responding in public, but silently working behind the scenes to get people to speak a narrative for you, right? That could be very, very, very clever. People do that. So is she right for calling him out publicly? Yeah, I can see why she decided to do it. And she's very serious about taking it legally. Therefore, that she takes this situation very seriously. I think for me, my final point of this conjuncture is that whilst these two were relationship goals and couples, there was things that were happening underneath the surface. This is not the first time that, quote unquote, you might say that Imam has behaved this way, and it's not the first time she's behaved the way she has. This is only a confirmation of what they've already behaved like in their actual relationships. Now, the main point is that they have kids together, and that's who the first person should be thought of. I don't want to see him go to jail, but I also want to see him do something stupid. At the same time, there is a requirement for him to be a mature individual and adult, and there's a requirement for her to be a mature individual and adult. Now, if you're doing things that are flouting the space and doing things that are going to affect your ex-spouse, then you are going to be called out to the rug for it. But I still want to wait to see what his response actually is. As she said, there is no protection for her when he doesn't protect her with silence. The silence actually does not help her because people will form narratives in the space of silence. So he should at least speak up and say, hey, it's not true that she's gold digging. It is true that she's not trying to do this to me. It is true that she's not doing that to me because we have a great relationship. Remember, this is somebody who called her ex-partner a friend. She may not call him a friend after this any longer because she's not showing friendship in this dynamic by covering her when she also needs it. Now, that's my thoughts for now because I think there'll be more information that will come out. But please let me know your thoughts down below. Click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. Leave a comment down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I said we got to talk, but I guess the talk is finished. We'll see you.